What's going on, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you what is hopefully the very first review for Eden Zero on this channel, being chapter 121. Now, I say first because I made one last week, but I totally didn't upload it because I was very not confident about it. I didn't think anybody would watch it, but I know I just got to do it. So if you're here for the first time, please like the video so sub to the channel because I will be bringing more Eden Zero content to the channel. I promise on the Nintendo N on my chest, I will bring it. And if I don't, I will rip this N off. Someone hold me to that. Anyway, chapter 121, the very beginning, I was very confused by this like cover page of the or not cover page, but this like title page of the chapter, because it was Hermit and Weiss, and I really feel like granted they've been interacting more recently, but I feel like they haven't really interacted all too much in the past. So it kind of threw me. Once I got into the chapter, it made sense, but just in the beginning, I was like, what? Why are these two together? Anyway, we move on to the beginning of the chapter, which just is back in the electronics store where Rebecca had just beat Brittany. I want to say her name was, I'm not quite for sure. Yeah, I believe it was Brittany, but she just beat her and she's getting close. You know, Rebecca can never have her clothes for more than like 3 chapters before she loses them. But she's getting close and she's testing out the limits of her new ability, which was kind of shocking to me that she would try to test this out so soon. And she basically figures out that she can go back in time a couple seconds. Like basically there's a point she can go back a couple seconds and revisit that with the knowledge that she had in the future she was just in. So it's basically events will kind of play out the exact same. She calls this power reverse. Now me myself, this power is like Vine. She basically has a Vine ether. I'm pretty sure we all know what Vine is, right? Like we all know what Vine is. I'm not too old, and I know TikTok is like the big thing right now, but I feel we all know Vine. She basically has the power to put herself in a vine. But yeah, this does come at a huge cost, seeing as she like gets really exhausted or whatever, and like it looks like her face started to crack, which definitely is a very big deal. But it's interesting to see that like her ether gear kind of has 3 separate abilities. Like one goes like mad fast, you know, you got some little bit of super speed there, you got this ability, reverse or Vine, whatever you want to call it, as well as her ability to go even farther back in time that we know of, kind of breaks off and creates alternate verses essentially, or alternate worlds, which is crazy. Rebecca's definitely shaping out to be a crazy powerful character in the future, but it was just cool to see that we got this right here. So moving on to the next major scene, we go back to Shiki and Homura. Last we had seen Shiki and Homura were trying to get her to a spring. You know, she can't deal with heat very well. I relate on a very deep spiritual level. I don't deal with heat well either. I'm wearing a hoodie, but it's typically really cold anywhere I am, so I just kind of I like the feel. Anyway, but we get into the spring scene with Homura, and
I want a diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best for me. Hey, Daddy.
yeah, I feel like there's not too much more I need to say there. But anyway, it's a nice little moment, you know, a little friendship moment between Shiki and Homura, because she does ask the good question of, you know, we're all trying to get to Mother, but what if she can only grant one wish? And this is something I have kind of thought about in the past, just because of how they talk about getting to Mother. Everyone has different things that they want, so it just kind of, they make it sound like it's almost like they make it sound like they can all get their wishes granted, when in all actuality they might not actually be able to get all of them granted. To which Shiki says if it's like that, then, you know, he doesn't even want a wish, which is very in Shiki's character. He takes up the mantle of the Mashima characters very well, like Natsu and Haru before him. It's very much in their characters to do something like this, so it was just cool to see that go down that way. And it's at this moment, a little bit after that, they detect, you know, more people coming down. It looks like this is Beast 1, and the guys they were fighting with were Beast 6. So if this is anything kind of how, you know, numbers work, I'm assuming that the 1 people are much stronger than the 6, and that's kind of what they were saying when they were introduced. Like, they've seen all of their fights and that they'll handle it, because, you know, they're, you know, the number 1 squad, which is crazy because these are you know, our main heroes like Shiki, Homura, and Rebecca struggled a lot against the people that they fought. I'd say that these are all mid to high diffs depending on like who you are. Like Shiki had to go all the way into his freaking overdrive to win. I mean, Rebecca had to realize she had a new power, and then Homura had to bust out something we had never seen before. So I mean, they definitely did a lot to win here. So I'm not for sure how this fight will go with Beast 1 squad. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. with us progressing further into the chapter, we get to see something that I love a lot about Eden Zero. Obviously, a lot of you were not here for my journey through it initially to read through it. But one thing I love about the series is the space battles. Just like how they show off like the different spaceships flying around, shooting each other. Space battles are so hype, and I'm glad that there is, that Mashima does spend time to give us these panels here and there just to, show off a nice, cool, epic space battle. They're really, really dope to see. We get to see like Lagana, Jin, and Klein, kind of trying to escort Weiss and Hermit to the satellite to, disable the virus. Now, of course, there's this little silly scene of like, Hermit is pretending to be affected by the virus and asking for Weiss's blood. And it made me laugh a little bit because we like Hermit is, a cool, jokey-ish character sometimes, but we don't really get to see that side of her so much because of what happened to her in the past. And it's crazy because while I was thinking this as I was reading it, like it got me thinking about her past, and then she walks into the room where they're going to, stop the virus essentially, and there's Dr. Muller. Now, they obviously show the panel, but like Dr. Muller, I hate this guy. I hate him so much. Like during my read of Eden Zero, they gave the disclaimer when they went to Digilist for like, oh, these next couple scenes are going to be like really graphic or whatever. But anything involving that wasn't all that graphic. The Hermit flashback was the most graphic and disturbing thing for me. Like the fact that she just wanted to help, and essentially this man tricked her into murdering her own kind and like beat her and tortured her just forever. Like for so, I hate this man. I cannot stress that enough. Like by all the powers of Moscow, I wish I could have been the one to eliminate this guy, just because he is the lowest of the low. And that is where the chapter ends, and I'm so mad that I have to wait another week to get this, because next week, all I want to see is Hermit slam this guy's face into the ground, because this guy is absolute trash. Like, this is trash. This is turning less into a review and more into me trashing Dr. Muller, because I hate this man. But realistically, next chapter, we may get to see the initial confrontations between Shiki and Homura and the Beast 1 squad, as well as possibly them trying to link up with Rebecca. Of course, I really want to see more of the Weiss and Hermit versus Dr. Muller, hopefully. Like, I'm assuming his body is probably connected to the virus in some way, shape, or form, so probably gonna have to destroy him. Obviously, he's not gonna let them just disable the virus without fighting him, so we'll have to see how that goes. I do think that Hermit will at some point be affected by the virus. I think that little bit they did in the spaceship with her pretending to be affected by it might be subtle foreshadowing of it potentially happening, but we're going to have to see there. That's just my little nugget of a prediction I wanted to throw in there. So with that being said, overall, I give this chapter like a solid 6.5. It was a pretty good chapter. I enjoyed it a lot. 6.5 out of 10 is what I think I'll give it for right now. Let me know how you guys feel about the chapter down below. If this is your first Eden Zero review on my channel, make sure you leave a like, as well as subscribe to the channel, as well as comment something. As anybody can tell you, I talk to you guys in the comments all the time. You guys have some really good takes, and some really interesting conversations are always being had down there. So I hope I will see you there. As well as my longtime subscribers, I definitely expect to see you guys down there, because I want to know what you guys are feeling for this chapter. I'm very curious to know what a couple of you guys think. So with that being said, I have nothing else for you guys, so I'll catch you in my next video. More Eden Zero content coming, I promise you. On the end.